Hey guys, thanks for joining me. So for this week's video, I wanted to go over a few of the things that I've been incorporating into my own personal movement practice to bring awareness and to strengthen my core. For this class, if you have a block and a blanket, that's awesome. They're not, necessary or vital. You can still do the little sequence without them, but they are a good addition if you do have those things handy. So to start with, I want us to take a few moments seated and just take a little bit of time to breathe and bring our awareness inside of our bodies like we always do before we engage in any sort of mindful movement practice. So find yourself a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe placing the palms on the knees or backs of the hands on the knees. Taking a moment to find a very tall seat. Thinking about rooting down through the sit bones, elongating the spine, and relaxing the shoulders. Trying not to sit too far back on the tailbone so that we're slouching, or too far forward on the sit bones so that the ribs are jutting forward. Trying to find that nice, subtle position at center. And then tune your awareness into your breathing. And see if you can find that rhythm of breath, that slow, even, deep breathing. And trying to breathe in such a way that we are finding that expansion and that lung capacity with our breath, but not in such a way that we're straining or constricting the other breathing muscles in the body, like in the neck and in the chest and in the shoulders. Trying to stay as relaxed as we can through this area of the body and leave the movement to the low belly and the rib cage. And taking a nice few breaths in and out. Trying to find that expansion on the inhale. And getting a sense of that contraction on the exhale. And then bringing our awareness to the belly. And I want us to take a moment and do a really simple exercise to try and get in touch with the muscles in the deep core, underneath of the superficial surface core muscles, the six-pack abs or the rectus abs, and trying to go below the surface to the transverse abs, those laterally running ab muscles that go all the way across the torso and almost wrap around us like a corset. These are the really functional and stabilizing muscles in the core, and they're often forgotten, or we're not entirely sure how to engage them or if we're engaging them. So I find that this is a really simple exercise to help strengthen that mind-body connection to this part of your core. So take a deep breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, I want you to gently draw the navel back towards the spine. Imagine like you can touch the spine with the navel, but doing so in such a way that we're still keeping the rib cage relaxed. We're not sort of doing that crunching motion like we would during any sort of regular ab exercise. We're just simply trying to draw the navel as close as we can to the spine, but keep the rib cage and the shoulders and the glutes relaxed. Take a breath in through the nose, expand. And as you exhale, draw the belly in. Keep drawing it in. You might even feel it drawing a little bit in and up. Inhale, relax, expand. Exhale, draw the belly in. Take a few more breaths like that. Now, I'm not saying that you don't want to use your entire core whenever you're doing a core exercise. I'm simply trying to help us differentiate between the different muscles in the core and see if we can bring some awareness to those deeper ab muscles. I'll take one more breath in. And exhale, draw the belly in. And inhale, release. All right, so if you have your blanket handy, you'll want to grab it and place it underneath of your sit bones. In preparation for boat pose, if you're like me and you have a little bit of a longer coccyx or tailbone, you'll find that it's actually really hard to balance in boat, but the blanket underneath the sit bones works like a charm. So give it a try. So placing the sit bones on the blanket to start, and also making sure that we have our block in arm's reach as well. So setting up for a traditional boat with the knees bent, feet on the floor, sitting nice and tall, and then lean back and see if you can find a little bit of balance on the tailbone. Making sure to be staying nice and proud through the chest with the shoulders back and not collapsing through the low spine. And when you feel ready, see if you can lift the shins and bring them to 90. Now, if you're looking for a little more of a challenge, see if you can release the hands, reaching the fingertips forward. Keep drawing that navel in, trying to sit nice and tall. And take 3 more breaths. 1, 2, and 3. Slowly lower the feet back down. Now we're going to do a couple different variations of boat. So you're going to take your block and place it between your feet. So it's like the skinniest side is between the feet. So squeezing the block between your feet, you're going to come back into your boat prep position with the hands behind the knees, lean back on the tailbone, find some length through your spine, broad across the chest, and once you've found your balance, see if you can lift the legs. Release the hands, keep reaching the fingertips forward. Now we're going to see if we can tap our toes and our block to the floor and come back up. Trying to move nice and slow with control, and we're going to see if we can keep doing that. Now if you find that bringing the block right back up to legs at 90 is enough of a challenge, that's great. Or you could try extending the legs a little more, which I find quite a bit more difficult. Don't hold your breath. It doesn't really matter if you're inhaling up and exhaling down, or exhaling up and inhaling down, just as long as you're breathing. Keep extending the legs and trying to move with control. Take notice if you're feeling some heat starting to build in the body. And try your best to keep a soft face. 3 more reps. 1, 2, 3. Release the block down. Take just a moment. Get that block out of your way. Bring the feet and legs back together. Take another breath in. And breath out. Lean back. Relift the legs into boat. Take hold of your block. And we're going to twist from side to side. So holding your block, you're going to twist the torso from side to side. Reach the hands out as long as the arms will extend. And touch your block to the floor. Trying to stay as steady as you can at center. And of course, always breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower the feet back down. You might notice that there's a little bit of heat starting to build up in the body. That's a good thing. So if you would like to, get your blanket out of the way and sitting so that you have enough space behind you that when you lie down, you can reach the arms overhead. You're not going to hit a wall or anything like that. So starting with the feet, a relatively decent distance from the sit bones, but keeping the feet hip distance. We're going to reach the arms out in front of us, again reaching through the fingertips, and then we're going to roll onto the floor one vertebra at a time with as much control as we can. So take a breath in, and as you exhale, begin to round the spine. Tuck the chin in towards the chest, and imagine like you can roll down the spine one vertebra at a time, slow with control, and then reach the arms overhead, bringing the backs of the hands to the floor. As you inhale, reach through the fingertips, allowing the spine to arch and lift. And then as you exhale, think about tilting the pelvis so that the pubic bone moves up towards the sternum, tailbone moves back towards the heels, which makes the low back round down into the floor. Also drawing the navel in. And then start to lift back up, reaching the hands back towards the knees, coming into the beginning of a sit-up position. Now we're going to come back exactly the way that we came. And I'm actually going to scoot forward a little bit because I was hitting that wall. Take a breath in. Exhale, roll down, slow with control. Tuck the chin. Keep drawing the navel in as you lie down. Reach the arms overhead. Inhale, reach through the fingertips. Allow the spine to arch and lift. Exhale, tilt the pelvis, pubic bone towards the sternum, tailbone towards the heels as you reach the hands back up and slowly sit back up. Inhale at the top. Exhale, start to lower. One vertebra at a time, really rounding the spine as you lie down and reach the arms overhead. Inhale, reach through the fingertips. Exhale, ground the low back down, start to lift back up, slow with control. And of course, if you need to use a little bit of momentum, that's fine. It's as little momentum as possible, but as much as you need to. So if you wanted to add something to this from here, just to make it a little more challenging for yourself, try walking the sit bones, or the heels rather, as close as you can back towards the sit bones, making sure that there's at least maybe even a little bit wider than hip distance between your feet. Reach your hands in front of your knees, and we're going to see if we can come to stand from here. So you might have to find a little bit of momentum and then see if you can rock up onto your feet and stand all the way back up. Now from here, we're going to see, just for fun, if we can come all the way back down to that lying position with the arms overhead. So see if, just to work on the balance a little bit as well, if you can come up onto the tippy toes, reaching the arms in front of you, shoulder height. Don't worry if you start doing a little bit of a tiptoe dance, it happens to me all the time. Take a breath in to prepare. And then as you exhale, actively draw the belly in and begin to send the glutes behind you as you bend your knees and slowly lower down. And see if you can come to a seat. Now from here, walk the feet about a feet's distance in front of where they were. Make sure the arms are on the outside of the knees. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, lower all the way down, one vertebra at a time. Reach the arms overhead. Inhale, reach through the fingertips. We're going to come all the way back up to where we just were. Exhale, ground the low back down. Start to lift back up, as little momentum as possible. Walk the feet back towards the sit bones. Rock forward and maybe stand all the way back up. Now, if that's a little bit too much for you, you can just keep repeating that articulated sit up and lie back down movement that we were doing without the standing part. But just for fun, one more time, see if we can stand come all the way to lying down from standing. Coming up onto the tippy toes. Breathe in. Exhale, start to lower, draw the navel in, butt behind you as you start to bend the knees and sit down. Rock onto the bottoms of the feet into the sit bones. Walk the feet forward. And on your next exhale, really round the spine as you lower down and articulate one vertebra at a time. Reach the arms overhead. Stretch it out, allow the back to arch and lift. And then exhale, relax. Draw the knees in towards the chest. Give a little rock from side to side. Massaging out the low spine. And then come back to center and place your feet back on the floor with the knees bent. And bring your hands to a low V with the palms flipped up. Taking a few moments to notice the effect of those few little exercises on the body. Noticing if there's any heat starting around the area of the core, anywhere else in the body. And taking general stock of how you feel. Never attaching judgment, simply learning to observe. Taking as long as you'd like to lie here. And remembering that your practice, as short or as long as it was perfect. And thank you for joining me. Namaste.